Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Self-love through freedom and connection. So feel free to connect to the brave never fall on these social media platforms. If you find anything of value in this following podcast, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and support the brave and bold tribe growing one purposeful soul at a time. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you feeling balanced? Are you still journeying on an intentional, purposeful path? How are you feeling? Balancing yourself is a healthy, daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Clear your mind. Take a moment of silence for yourself. Right now, in the moment. You are here now. How are you feeling? We live mortal lives, but our essence will live on forever. We did not create ourselves. We have mothers, we have fathers, regardless if we have any relationships with them or they're the best people in our lives. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are connected. The little relationships you have with other people, the places you visit, this story over time means you have been connected with so much more than who you are. Therefore, you leave a trace of yourself everywhere you go. Everywhere that you go, you leave a trace. You are living in a world that is so connected that trying to think about all the little nuances of how many different things in just one day you interact with that is directly affected by your presence. That is powerful when you can start thinking on a deeper level like that. When you start thinking like that, it's inconceivable that any person could leave this planet and not leave behind an essence. And that's different than being remembered, because I think a lot of people look at, am I being remembered? Will I be remembered? And the question is, maybe you will, maybe you won't. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about your essence, your presence in this world. If you want to be remembered, what are you doing to put that in place? And if you don't care, what type of life are you living? That's what it's all about. Everyone's different. And our essence, our presence in this world is what dictates how much fulfillment we ultimately want from life for ourselves. What can we do? What do we not want to do? And are we holding ourselves accountable for whatever outcomes that comes our way when we're not here? What type of legacy do you leave behind? That's a great question. We don't know, because we won't be here to answer those questions. Only the people who remember us will be able to answer those questions. So it's all about what you're doing now. How many things you interact with, the fulfillment and purpose that you get out of life. That is what your essence is all about. Who we are is what we in each moment present to the world, to the people we love most. To the world, what we see ourselves as may not be reality to the outside world looking upon us. Who each of us are is beyond important, purposeful, or necessary. It is essential that we intentionally do the work to find out who we are from the inside out. We must know ourselves completely. It's not enough to say, I think I'm good enough, or I hope I'm going to be better. It's our birthright as each special, unique, and purposeful human being to truly know, trust, and believe in ourselves. Our self-worth, value, our investment to ourselves is paramount. There is no other higher priority than loving, knowing, and fulfilling your life within yourself. The moment you were born, your calling of life began. No one promised you at birth that it would be easy to discover your calling. If they did, they lied to you, because it's never easy. However, that doesn't mean the road to discovery has to be painful and treacherous. Finding who you are will always be an ongoing, action-packed adventure, full of twists and turns, dark corners, enlightened sunrises, wheat fields, and barren deserts. What your story will be is entirely upon you. Although we cannot control all the people, places, and things in our individual stories, we can control the most important part, the protagonist. We are the main character. Whether or not we shift from protagonist to antagonist is our responsibility. Becoming the villain in our own story is a dark corner we need not fall to. Every story has a point when the darkest corners are illuminated with hope, bravery, boldness, and intentional purpose. The revelation of that purpose does not come without strength, knowledge, empathy, self-love, passion, and sacrifice. Pushing beyond barriers we believed were indestructible. We achieve that through unwavering trust in the belief that we are more internally, and we present to the world a hero externally, our own personal, purposeful hero. Life, Episode 4, There is no death, only life. It's your story. It's your story now, it was your story before now, and it will be your story after now. It is your story. Everything that happens around us has a meaning, and we can bracket it in. You say in math, the order of operations, where you start with the brackets and parentheses, you move into multiplication and division, then you finish it out with adding and subtraction, you get the sum of the equation. Some people look at life like that, an order of operations. You're born, you learn, you do a bunch of things, you meet a bunch of people, you visit a bunch of places, and at some point you know there's an end coming. The equation will solve itself. All the parts will add up to something or be diminished to something. Divided, multiplied. If we look at life like that, that's very structured and rigid, not very flexible. It's not a lot of joy in there when it comes to being unpredictable, taking a risk, and seeing where things happen in life. There's more to life than just death. There's more to life than darkness and despair and giving up and feeling like life doesn't treat you fairly. Even though we are all treated the same way by life. When we go outside, life is not saying, let's pick this person today to fuck with. That's not what life does. Life is fair to everyone. We are all dealing with things in our own unique ways. And life owes us nothing and we owe life nothing. But we have to view our life in some type of an aspect to understand what it is we're supposed to be doing. Because if the end game in anything that you do, if you start a task, you know when it's completed or when it's not. Are you thinking about the completion of that task the moment you started? Are you saying, I got to do A, B, and C to get to this part? Are there things I can do differently to get to the same place? Can I do it faster? See, these are things that we can somewhat control, especially if we're initiating a task. We might be able to do some things on our own that's not influenced by external things, where we can say, today I'm going to do this, and no matter what, I'm going to do it. There may be some factors that may alter it, but I know I can do this one particular thing today. Then you do that thing. But then there's the other side where you can say the same thing, but know in the back of your mind that there are going to be things that are going to mess that flow your day up. That one goal that you want to complete that day, that one task is going to have something bump up against it that may convince you or deter you or put doubt in your mind that it cannot be completed, and you focus on that. Now that is starting to give you GAD, which is general anxiety disorder. That's partially how that begins. You start thinking about not the goal anymore. You start to think about the things that could set that goal into a place of non-fulfillment, where all of a sudden now that very obtainable goal that popped in your mind suddenly has roadblocks, barriers, bricks that are right in front of you that you are not laying yourself, but maybe someone else is laying them for you, and they're saying, hey, I'm building this wall. Your goal is behind it. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stop me now from building this wall? Are you going to wait till I build it and knock through it? Are you going to convince me not to lay down another brick? Or are you going to help me build the wall? What's happening here? What's happening is that, and every human being does this, what's happening is that we know what we're capable of doing, but sometimes it seems too fucking easy. It seems too easy, seems too obtainable. We don't trust ourselves to say, you know, I'm going to get this done today. It seems easy, but I know it may be too easy. So that means this is probably going to end up a little more difficult to obtain and to achieve than I thought. So let me go ahead and insert the excuse, the person over there building the wall. Let me go ahead and put a little, I can get that done if this happens. This is just one goal. Now, can you imagine taking that type of mindset and applying it to your entire life? Suddenly, death has a whole new meaning if you live your life that way. And far too many of us, me included, do this. Everybody does this. No one's excluded from this. The difference is, what do you do about it when those thoughts creep into your mind? The general anxiety disorder complex of it. Some people really do struggle with this, and some people are marginally. There's a spectrum of this. But I think it applies to the entire existence of every single person. Do you go into every situation thinking, I'm going to sabotage this situation? Or are you looking at it as, no matter what happens today, I'm going to complete this goal? I don't care how down I get. I don't care how dark it gets. I don't care who supports me. I don't care who is supporting me. I don't care about any of that. I have to get this done. I will be appreciative of the people that support me and help me, and I will say goodbye to the people who don't. I'm going to get this done with or without any help. That type of a mindset, based on one task, and you apply that to your whole life, think of the things you can accomplish before you leave this earth. And we can get into that mindset through detachment and bringing things down to the moment. Because of course we're going to get anxiety if we're already thinking 25 steps down the line. You don't need to do that. You're never going to get to the 23rd step of a 25-step process if you don't complete step 2, 3, and 4. You got to get into the rhythm of the process. And some of these things, I think, comes from a lack of perspective about what is actually going on in the moment. Are we letting our feelings dictate how we feel about this particular task that we are intentionally, a lot of times, bringing upon ourselves? A lot of things we give ourselves anxiety about, we don't even have to do. They're not obligations, they're not priorities. They're just things that we want, things that we feel we need. And we stress ourselves out about stuff that we don't actually need at all. We stress ourselves out about what are we going to have for dinner. And technically, people look at dinner like it's some kind of an event, which it can be. Nothing wrong with that. But technically, you don't have to have it. You don't. And people stress themselves out about this. What restaurant are we going to go to tonight? Why don't you just cook at home? The unnecessary stress that we put on ourselves in life, I think, is what we get back to this equation of order of operations. And I always try to look at things a little more fluid, not so rigid. We need flexibility. We need some room for things to be adapted and evolved. We need to be able to flex our muscles, so to speak, when things arise, and we just don't cower in the corner. We need to say, no, I'm going to complete this. Or, why am I stressing out about this? Why? Who cares? Okay, I set a goal out for myself. Is it necessary that I do this today? Why am I stressing myself out? If I don't want to do it, don't do it. It's just that simple. And these things add up to a pattern in discipline. I've been saying a whole lot to people lately. The only equation I really adhere to right now when it comes to life and being rigid with it is when it comes to who you are as a person. Because you have to be. You have to have something just solid, something that is not going to sink like the Titanic hitting the iceberg. You need something that it can take an impact and keep on going, or at least stop, be repaired, and then keep on going. We have to have these things in place. And one of my favorite personal equations is focus plus purpose equals discipline. Focus plus purpose equals discipline. And I play that in a loop in my head over and over and over again. Because if I can focus on what I'm doing, it gives me purpose. Because now I know whatever I'm doing, it's aligned with who I am. It's aligned with what I'm doing. It's not a waste. It's okay to hang back and do things that are fun. Obviously, life is about being fun and simple. If I'm focusing on something that is not bringing me purpose, why am I bothering? There is something else that does that I'm ignoring. There is someone else out there that I'm ignoring by focusing on someone else who does not bring me purpose. Something, some place. If it doesn't feel right, you have to think something needs to be adjusted. Something needs to be evolved. I need to jettison someone, someplace, something. Something has to go. Something needs to be added. If you want to talk about equations that way, when you feel bracketed in, these are things you can do to kind of get out and work your way out of that equation. If you want to think of it that kind of rigidness, I personally don't recommend it. I think life should be a little more flowing. I think you should trust yourself. If we can define values and morals and principles for ourselves, we always have a basis of a formula built into ourselves that is equal to discipline. And we can detach from any situation and come back to those morals, values, and principles, and it will instantly give you definition about who you are in life. And that definition will be your purpose. And if you don't have the full picture of the purpose, it'll give you enough fragments of it, just enough for you to at least make the right decision in that moment. We don't have to be prophets and understand what's going to happen to us beyond the plane of existence. We don't have to look so far down our lives and say, I know what's going to happen. We don't know. We don't have a clue what's going to happen to us from one moment to the next. So there's no point in stressing out about that. Now, is that hard to do? Yes. It's hard not to stress out about what's to come. That is part of the human condition. That's part of being a human being. But the great, fun, happy thing about life is that we can do something about it through awareness. The awareness that in any moment, if you can find a way to kind of retreat back, detach from the situation, and put your life into perspective in each moment, when you start to doubt, redefine it. Focus plus purpose equals discipline. We have to focus on who we are now. We can't focus on the darkness that may come, the death that is inevitable. We know it's coming. Why focus on it? That is one of the things in life you know is going to happen. And stressing out about it is not going to change that outcome. We are all going to die. So why focus on it? And I choose not to talk about it as much. I've dealt with death enough in my life to know that focusing on it will only lead you to a negative place. We can celebrate the ones who are gone. We should celebrate them. But we shouldn't mirror their outcome in our hearts. Focus on it so much in our minds that we become a part, an attachment to that death. And then project it onto our own unknown futures that have not happened. We are more. We are so much more in each moment that we give ourselves credit for. We don't give ourselves enough credit for being strong in each moment. We don't give ourselves enough credit for wanting to try new things and to be disciplined about it. We don't give ourselves enough credit that we do know what we want for ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough credit to have the strength to make a mistake and maybe make the wrong turn and have to admit that you're wrong. We don't have the strength to forgive people who deserve to be forgiven. We don't have patience and understanding with people and places and things that didn't work out the way we wanted them to. So those things are negative. Not every person you meet is negative. Not every place you meet is negative. Not everything you have is negative. It's a mindset. It's a perception. The only negative thing that pops up in that negativity is you. You ever think about this? If you keep feeling like you're failing over and over and over again, what is the common denominator? We can go back to these equations again. The common denominator will always be you, the protagonist in your own story. If you're miserable all the time, what is the common denominator of your misery? You. If you're lonely all the time, what is the common denominator in your loneliness? You. If you're happy all the time, and joyful and in peace, what is the common denominator? You. That's another way of saying any of these things are created by you. The story is told by you. And you are the common denominator in the story that you create. No one truly can make you unhappy. Not even if they wanted to, if you didn't want to be. Happiness comes from within. That's why you ever be around somebody who is just joyful all the time. They always have a smile on their face no matter what's going on. They know they got this. They never get completely down. They never think that they're down and they're out. A challenge comes and they're on top of it and they move right on to the next one. Everything just keeps going. They trust that their story is built upon something that is unbreakable. What is that unbreakable element? It is values, morals, and principles. They know who they are. They're living in the moment. They know when to detach. They know how to put things in perspective. They see the happiness and joy and peace in everything instead of looking at all the negative shit that happens in life. They see the good in people instead of looking at the negative. They're patient. They understand life has to evolve and flow in their own way. They're not forcing people to do things they don't want to do. In every relationship they have, they are allowing the other person to feel free. They're not controlling or manipulative. They're not malevolent and evil. We have to get to a place in ourselves where we know that we have a limited time here. We know that at any moment we can leave. But if you can look at it on the other side of that, just like if you look at a person and everyone in the room says this one person is negative, and you look at this person and you're like, I just don't feel that. Do you have enough trust in yourself to say, I trust this feeling? You guys might find this person to be negative. I kind of see some positivity in this person, and this person ends up being your best friend or your soulmate because you saw something in that person that no one else trusted. How is that? Because you were living your own story. You trusted yourself in your own story. You didn't rely on the other people to dictate and control who you are, how your mind works, how your feelings work. We're not going to be aligned with everyone in life, regardless if it's our friends, our families, our co-workers, churchgoers, spouses, children, whatever it is in life. We are not going to be aligned with every single person we feel we should be aligned with. We have to take care of ourselves. Remember, we take care of ourselves for everyone else, and everyone else has to take care of themselves for us. You do your part, everything else will line up. You don't do your part, and things won't line up. It's very simple. Simple in words, harder to do in nature, but it takes time, and again, that awareness. Are we aware? Is any human being capable of being aware in a moment where something like that would happen, where we are dealing with a situation where you're outnumbered? Most people think this is the right decision. You're saying, no, that's not it. That's not the right decision for me. Maybe the right decisions for you, if you were in my situation. Congratulations, but you're not me. I'm me. You're you. You take care of yourself, I'll take care of myself. And then they'll say, you don't care what we think? It's like, well, I respect what you think, but it's none of my business what your opinion is. And we have to also take all that into. We have to know that we can function on our own. We have to give ourselves our own definition of who we are. No one can tell you. We can get guidance. We can get mentorship, leadership. But you learn who you are through experience. You learn who you are by failing. You learn who you are by going through trials and going through challenges and some struggles here and there. Nobody's saying you have to create them for yourself. But you can do things that will mimic it. And I say it all the time. Me signing up for a marathon, having never ran one, was one of the best things I've ever done to help my confidence. I trusted myself that I could train myself in 3 months' time to run a 6K. To me now, when I think about that, I'm like, I run those for my warm-ups sometimes. 6K, I could run that every day if I wanted to. But at the time, I was thinking, how am I going to run this thing? It's just a mindset shift. It's you adapting and giving yourself room to grow. That's what life is about. Life is not about death. You're going to grow to the day that you die. So life equals growth. You're going to grow, whether it's just simply grow old. Life is going to have you growing to the moment you die. So life is not about death. Life is about life and living that damn thing. Being happy, finding ways to be simple and joyful and not taking on things that you don't need, eliminating everything, every person, every place, everything that brings you negativity, that is corrupting you, that is manipulating you, that is making you feel like you need it and you don't need it, and you know you don't need it, but you do it because everyone else is doing it. Oh, the influencing. No. All you need is what you need. That's all you will ever need. It's only what you need. Anything else that you get from that is a bonus. If it's not destructive to you, if it's something that makes you happy, that's great, but you don't need it. How is that possible? I can tell you how it's possible. Look at around you. Did any of this stuff exist thousands of years ago? And they managed. It's a mindset shift. Go to some random island that nobody's been on ever. They don't give a damn about your smartphone. All they care about is where their next meal is going to come from. All they need is that next catch, that next batch of fish that's going to come in. The next board is going to be shot. The next board is going to be hunted and taken down. But maybe they do have guns. Who knows? The point is that whatever it is that they're doing, to them, that batch of fish and that board they have is the equivalent of your house and your smartphone. The two things you think you need the most. We don't need anything. All this stuff around us, all the people around you, it's all a bonus. It's called being grateful, appreciative of the people that's going to come into your life that are special. And you love them unconditionally. You love the places that brings you joy unconditionally because it is a bonus and it's not guaranteed. You don't deserve it. You've earned it. You've earned that beautiful person in your life that you can love unconditionally. You've earned those things that you have. You've earned your place in life. That is what life is all about. It's not about thinking about all the things you can acquire before you die. It's not about thinking about, I want somebody to take care of me for the rest of my life before I die. I want to do that. You don't need any of that. You have to look at these things as things that you earn and they're bonuses. If they were stripped away, you mean to tell me that you wouldn't survive without these things? If that's the case, ask yourself that. And we'll talk about that more in the mission coming up. We have to get to a place where we know that things that are great in our life have to be looked upon with gratitude, have to be grateful for it. We have to know when we wake up every single morning, it's a gift. And if somebody gave you a gift and you opened it up and it was more money than you can count, would you burn it? That would be very ungrateful. You didn't earn it. You don't deserve it, obviously. But somebody thought it was a great gift to give to you. Because they thought you were special and they loved you unconditionally, and you opened it up, and it doesn't have to be money. It could be anything that is priceless in this world, and you burn it, you destroy it. Why would you do that? If we can look at our lives the same way, it's a gift. So why would you destroy and burn your gift every morning? Why would you run people out of your life that are the good people, and you keep the people in your life that aren't bringing you anything but misery? Why would you keep something in your life, something that is causing some addiction in your life, and you know about it? Again, the word I want to come back to is awareness, because none of this is applicable to anybody if you're not aware of all the nuances about who you are. If you're not aware that you're addicted to something, that's a different story. If we're unaware that we have general anxiety disorder and we're sabotaging ourselves every time we want to take on a task and we start procrastinating, we have no idea why, and why we're so scared and afraid to keep special people in our life or to visit a place because we're afraid that it's going to be, difficult and stressful, or take on some task that is going to be stressful. We look at the stress side of everything. We don't look at the beneficial side of taking on a challenge, whether it's self-imposed or it's something that is coming to us without our control. We fear it. Fear leads to all different types of disorders, all different types of mindsets, all different types of failures in our life. The ultimate failure is to be aware that you have a problem and you do nothing about it. The ultimate failure in life is to live your life being controlled and manipulated by people who don't respect you. To have unconditional love for people, for places and things that don't reciprocate. To be invested in things that you get no investment back from. To be in love for someone who doesn't love you. We are in a world now where we have far more resources than we've ever had in life, and you look around, you see so many people look so much more miserable than they used to be. Because every day you wake up now, you get on social media and you're reminded every single second of what you don't have. We start losing definitions of ourselves. Everybody looks the same now. You're unique. You're beautiful. You're a person who deserves to have the opportunity to live your life you want for yourself. But just because you deserve the opportunity doesn't mean you deserve everything that's supposed to come into life without the proper perspective of knowing that you have to earn everything great in your life. Anything that's a bonus. You only deserve the air. You deserve water. You deserve the right to stand upon your morals and believe in whatever it is you want to believe in. To pursue whatever it is you want to pursue, as long as it's not hurting anyone. But you have to earn all that stuff. Everything you get from that has to be earned. Life is about earning. It's not about the earn you get when you die. It's about earning life, earning every moment, being appreciative and grateful for that person in your life that you are connected to, doing the things that you want to do, pursuing the career that you want, believing in the religion that you desire. These are things that are your birthright. You have every right to do any of these things without protest from anyone. Again, you're the protagonist in your own story. The antagonist becomes anybody who's fighting against you when you know the only thing you're trying to do is get through your story the best way you know how. Yes, you're going to mess up, you're going to trip, you're going to fall, but that does not mean you're going to stay down. The brave never fall. We rise. We always rise. You have to get to a place, and I keep saying that, you have to get to a place where you know who you are. And you stand there. If you already know it now, build upon it. If you don't know where it is now, start building. Start somewhere. Find something, some connection, some person, place, or thing that is positive, and you start there. You have to start. Some people are tearing down the walls and rebuilding. I know I did. I had to start from ground zero and work my way back up. It's never going to be easy, but it does not mean it has to be chaotic and treacherous. It does not. Something isn't vibing, you don't feel it, move on. You're wasting time. You're ignoring something else that you are aligned with. You're ignoring someone else that you are aligned with. All these things in life that you feel like, I just don't know. Move on. You can't waste time. You cannot. Life is too short. You don't know when it's going to be it for you. Now again, life is about earning it. We don't want to focus on that. We don't want to focus on, is this person, place, or thing right for me? If you don't know, it's probably wrong. If you don't know, it's probably wrong. That's why you have to detach and see if it aligns with your values, your principles, and morals. That's the easiest way, the most quick and real time, in the moment way of figuring this stuff out. If it's not bringing you joy, happiness, and it's not bringing you peace, and you don't feel free, it's not in alignment. It is not in alignment. You owe nothing to anyone. You only owe everything to yourself first. You fix yourself first. Your greatest love in this world will always be self-love. Your greatest unconditional love in this world will always be self-love. Your mission for today is to visualize. You don't need to write this down unless you absolutely have to. Visualize what your life would be like and how you would have fared thousands of years ago where you don't have everything that you know to be right now. This is exercise in rewriting a story where you don't have everything. You just have your bare essentials. You get to walk outside and you have the air. You have animals to hunt. But you have to earn everything. So life is pretty much just giving you air. There's some water nearby. You have to get it yourself. There's things and tools around for you to build your own home. Got to do it yourself. You have people around you. They may help you. They may not. But all of you are on your own. Bare minimum. How would you fare? Do you think you would be fine in that situation? Just think about it. What things do you have now that are a bonus, things that we should be grateful for in your life right now, that if stripped away and you were somehow in a world that is barren and there's post-apocalyptic scenario in the story and you're the protagonist, how do you fare? Would you hold up without your smartphone, without your house, without your unconditional love with you? Would you crumble? Would you fall? What type of person are you is what this mission is about. What is it that you need versus what you want? And that's the mission. Think about it. Visualize it. What are the things you truly need right now versus what you believe you need to survive? Just think about it in your mind. What's in there? What do you see? When you say to yourself, I only need this person, this place, this thing. Need, the word need, not want. If this person, place, or thing went away, would I be able to go on without them? Without it, without this place, without this thing? It's an exercise I think we all should think about every single day. This is your day. You are here now. These are your moments. You own them. You are brave, bold, powerful. You do believe in yourself. You know you have more in the tank. You know the glass is half full. There's still more room for improvement. There is no end. Believe, believe, believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that you can do whatever it takes to accomplish whatever you want from life. You don't procrastinate. You don't embellish. You don't lie. You are true to yourself. Knowledge is in your mind. Peace is in your heart. Balance is in your body. Purpose is in your soul. You are greatness. The sky is not the limit. You have purpose, fulfilling, intentful purpose. You are here for a reason. You are unique. You are self-love, self-discipline, self-respect, self-control. You have self-awareness. You are joy, peace, happiness. You are freedom. And yet you are connected to every person, place, and thing in the universe. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.